On this episode of the Bronze Metalist podcast, we talk about Melancholy by Shadow of Intent. Hell yeah. I did my weird inflection on that. Shadow of Intent.
Shadow of Intent.
Shadow of Intent, not Shadow of Intent.
Shadow in a tent.
Putting the emphasis on the wrong syllable there. Anyway. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Bronze Medalist Podcast. I'm Kale.
I'm OJ.
And we're two professional broadcasters. We both love ourselves some heavy metal, and we like to talk about it, don't we?
Mm-hmm. I don't know why I said it that way. I like me some heavy metal.
Okay.
All right.
Very, sort of like a neurotic elf.
I want to be a dentist.
That's exactly what I was thinking of. Yeah. All right. Okay. So, like I said in the intro, we're talking about Melancholy. It's the brand new album from Shadow of Intent.
Indeed.
American sort of symphonic deathcore band. We'll get to talking about that in a little bit.
Fairly new band.
Fairly new, yeah. This is their third full-length album, but it's I believe they're first going into it as a fully fledged live band.
Sure.
So yeah, it's some good shit. We'll get to talking about that. First, what's
Awesome.
up? How you doing?
Life is good. I drove the hog here. Went to a Girl Scout meeting tonight.
Nice.
Yeah, was really sick yesterday.
Yeah, you woke up with the plague.
Yeah, I woke up. There's no way I'm going to work today. And then I just laid in bed and got up and went to the bathroom all day.
Yeah, and it was coming out both ends.
It was everywhere.
So yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've got some fun stuff coming up here. I have my trademark silly haircut.
Yeah.
Right now,
Look, it looks good. It works on you. Oh, it works on you.
Oh, it works on you.
Yeah.
I right now have the sides of my head completely shaved down in a sort of a long flop.
No, did you have somebody do that, or did you do it yourself?
I had somebody do that. I can't draw a straight line with a pencil on paper.
Okay.
I cannot trust myself to make anything close to a straight line on my own head with an electric razor.
So you paid somebody and they did that.
I paid somebody and they did it for me.
Did you pay for that haircut? Did you?
I did. No, I just walked in and then I walked out.
They gave me a free shirt.
I said, "Fuck you, I'm going. Thanks for the haircut." Yeah, I paid someone for it. Yeah, Ren Fair this weekend. I'm super excited for it. Going to be heading on to, I was going to say down. It's not down, it's over.
It's over. Well, it's slightly down.
Slightly, yeah.
Yeah, it's down and over.
Yeah, ever so slightly. To Shakopee, Minnesota.
Yeah. Down, over, up, over, A-B.
I think you missed a
Ren Fair.
Oh, you said over instead of left right.
Well, yeah, because if you go back left, then you're gonna
going back into North Dakota. That's the wrong direction.
Konami could be damned. I mean, you wouldn't end up at Ren Fair.
I suppose. So yeah, I am hoping against hope that I will have a couple of costume pieces arrive tomorrow before I leave. I really don't think they will. I ordered a couple of pieces from a shop called Grimfrost. I guess shout out to them. That's where the shirts I have hanging up over there are from there as well. Very nice linen tunics.
Sure.
And I decided I wanted some better pants and some leg wraps as well.
That you'll have for next year.
Yeah, that now I will have for next year. Hopefully by then I'll have some new shoes that'll be worth a damn as well. But for this year, I'm thinking I'm going to have to go with mostly last year's kit. I did get a new belt. That is, it's pretty long and fairly thin. The length isn't really a problem. The thinness maybe is, but I was already thinking that I wouldn't take my sword in this year, just because it's just one more thing on the belt that I don't really need.
It's a thin belt and it's a heavy sword.
Yeah, it's a heavy sword, and if this year I'm planning on getting a new sword.
So there you go.
Maybe a little bit more historically accurate.
Then you'd have two swords, and
then I can have
then
two.
You'd totally be pantless.
Sure. Yeah, I'm gonna go in next year with two swords. I'm also leaving my shield behind this year because that thing is heavy and an unnecessary piece of gear. But I've got my my belt stuff and my drinking horn ready to go and that sort of thing. I'm thinking about still bringing my smaller axe and seeing how that goes, but I don't really know. I don't really know if I will do that. In any case, it should be a good time. I'm hoping maybe we will both have a little extra money in our pockets by the end of the workday tomorrow.
Tomorrow? Well, yeah, we get paid tomorrow.
Yeah, but
we definitely get paid tomorrow.
I'm not talking about our regular pay amount. We're close to a bonus.
Oh,
at work.
Not really probably gonna happen. Well, I think we're like $108 away.
Yeah, it's like a couple of things.
But they would have to get them to play either tomorrow or the next day.
I mean, one of our salespeople that loves to do last minute next day spots. Well, actually, several of them love to do that. So it's. And I think doesn't I guess I don't want to name. It's only her first name, so
sure.
Doesn't Jamie usually send most of her spots on Friday?
Okay. The problem is with that is that a lot of times she will have sent in her traffic, and therefore it will have counted toward the bonus already prior to getting us the information. So that's already on the books by the time we get it last minute.
Damn it.
Yeah.
Well. In any case, I've got extra money from I did a couple of remotes this month and weekend weather, so I've got some cash to burn at the Renaissance Fair.
I don't.
Yeah. One other thing I do want to talk about, just because it's something that's been on my mind all week, and it's something that sucks and is just terrible.
Yeah.
And I thought about maybe not talking about this. Is Monday afternoon, family pet got put to sleep. So.
Sure.
It's just it's a sad thing that happens, and it's been nagging at me all week. And
sorry, man.
It happens. And she was an old dog, and she had some problems that couldn't be taken care of just because of the nature of being an old dog.
Sure.
And she was still other than the health problem she had this like abscess on her leg, where she would start bleeding, and it was starting to smell real bad and stuff like that. And it was, other than that, she was perfectly herself and healthy and happy. But it's, it got to the point where my mom left her alone for, a couple of minutes a few times, and she came back to where the dog was laying, and there would be a dinner plate sized pool of blood on the floor. It's like, what happens if this, she starts bleeding like that when... And this was my dad talking to my mom, what happens if she starts bleeding like that when we're not at home?
Sure.
And, we can't bandage it up and stop the bleeding. What happens? And thinking about that, it's like, you don't want to let this thing that you love so much suffer and bleed to death on the floor of your goddamn house because you had to go take care of the grandkids or something.
Sure.
Like that's a well-loved dog deserves better than that, I think. And there's, that's a whole ethical debate about euthanization, but we've had a couple of dogs that had to get put to sleep like that, and I've never quite seen it the way that some people see it, where it's like, oh, it's cruel because they can't make the choice and everything. And it's like, have you seen the way that like dogs usually go to die on their own? They like run off and hide, and they're suffering for weeks sometimes,
and then they die.
It's never pretty, and it's almost never quick. We did have one dog when I was quite young who was healthy and passed away in his sleep in the middle of the night. No fuss. And I was too young to really understand or be upset by it, but like that sort of thing doesn't happen all that often as it would seem.
Right.
And so it leaves the owners with a very difficult choice. Boy, I brought a real downer to this episode, but it's something that's just been on my mind, and it's just it still sucks, but it's getting better. She was a fantastic dog. So Anyhow.
Anything else going on?
Oh, God.
Now that everybody's crying and left the room.
Sorry, Mom. She's probably listening. I brought it up again. I'm sorry, Mom. And Hannah, too.
Sure.
But I started playing Red Dead 2 again.
Really?
Yeah.
God, I need to get on that.
I don't know. I understand how some people might struggle to get into it.
It's a commitment is the problem.
It's a hell of a commitment, and it is a fairly clunky game. It's not very intuitive at all. It is it can be difficult to really get into if you weren't as invested as I was the first time I played it, and now I'm still invested.
Sure.
And wanting to play it again and discover little details that I didn't get the first time. I've already found stuff just exploring around the map that I never noticed or saw the entire first time I played for 3 weeks straight.
I get the feeling though that if in real life we were in that position at the end of the 19th century with a gun and holding up trains and shit, I feel like that wouldn't be intuitive either.
I suppose not.
I feel like in real life, I find myself, oh, damn it, I'm shooting people to death.
Yeah, but
it's not my bag, really.
Often you don't accidentally shoot people in the head when you were just trying to say hello to them because you hit the wrong button. Normally that doesn't happen.
Well, no,
in real life.
That happens.
Sure,
that's the thing.
That happened to you last week.
Exactly, at work. Hey, good morning. Oh, damn, sorry,
God,
head wound.
Damn it.
Headshot.
We lost another one. Oh, God damn it, OJ. I'm sorry, okay? It just went off.
You're on brain patrol.
Brain patrol?
Yeah.
What's brain patrol?
You're on brain duty.
What's brain duty?
That's where you go to the back of the car
cleaning
up the brains.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Was that a Pulp Fiction?
Yeah, it was in Pulp Fiction,
okay.
yeah.
It's been a little while, more than a little while. It's been quite some time since I've seen Pulp Fiction, so. Yeah. Other things going on tomorrow, which will be Friday.
Yeah, we're recording this on a Thursday.
And I'll probably still schedule this for Sunday.
Okay. Will you edit this evening? Or?
This evening or tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
But at any rate, tomorrow being Friday, there's a bunch of singles coming out, I guess. There's a new Fit for an Autopsy single coming out. Mm-hmm. There's a new Infant Annihilator single coming out. Apparently,
not singing.
Singing, yeah.
There won't be any singing.
Not really what, yeah, not what you would normally call singing. New Infant Annihilator single, new Rings of Saturn single, as I understand. So lots of deathcore coming out tomorrow. Mm-hmm. So I'll keep an eye out for that, I suppose, and see. I'm not, I got to be honest, I'm not particularly interested in the new Infant Annihilator album.
No.
For some reason, like, they put out the new single, and I listened to part of it and just kind of like, whatever. I need to sort of commit to listening to it, but I feel like the novelty of Infant Annihilator has kind of lost its luster.
Kind of a one-note, I mean, they really haven't expanded from their previous work.
Yeah, they have a niche, and they're sticking to it, and I appreciate that on some level, but it's like, it's going to be more of Dickie Allen doing his weird fucking mouth noises, and it's...
Maybe they'll put out a new homoerotic video for it.
They did.
Oh, they did? I didn't know that.
I started watching it, and it's not homoerotic at all for the first, minute, and then it starts getting very homoerotic. I don't know if you can really call it homoerotic anymore. It's just, it's basically softcore gay porn made by a bunch of straight British dudes. I guess Dickie's American, but right. It's basically softcore gay porn set to insanely brutal deathcore at this point. And then you've got the guys that are in Bro Job, where being gay is literally their thing.
Sure,
that's their shtick, and apparently they're going to Bro Job is now, in a similar story, maybe to Shadow of Intent, now becoming a live band. So that'll be interesting.
Maybe they could tour together.
that would be interesting to see. Bro Job. I still can't believe that is a band. Like I can't believe that that it was a musical project that got popular, and then it has now become something that they're wanting to tour.
Mm-hmm.
It's it's so ridiculous, and it's kind of, on one hand you could view it as like, I don't know if this is actually homophobic, but then on the other hand, all of the sales of their previous singles have all gone to LGBTQ charities.
Sure.
So it's like, it's kind of leaning into the skid of like this insanely sexual lyrics, all describing homosexual acts of some manner or another.
Mm-hmm. Which lends itself to deathcore very easily.
Sure, yeah. Well, part of it is it's almost making fun of deathcore, because deathcore has long had a reputation as being overly macho,
sure,
and kind of like, and it's all masculine posing in a sense, where it's like, oh, look how tough my songs are.
I'm gonna posture over here. I'm gonna posture over here.
Just a bunch of like kind of roided out 20-something dudes on the stage doing their thing. And so Brojob is kind of making fun of that by leaning into like, yeah, deathcore's gay as fuck. That's it. So I appreciate them on an intellectual level,
on a creative level, maybe.
On a creative level, sure. Yeah. It's it was an interesting, and I don't know if I want to say brave thing to do, but it was an interesting choice they made when they decided to start doing what they're doing. So Melancholy.
Sure.
So Shadow of Intent is an American, I guess, technical deathcore / symphonic deathcore band. I'm not entirely sure what town they're from or where they're, what city they're originally from. They don't have a Wikipedia page.
They don't?
Not yet. No, I don't think they're prominent enough at this point, but
there are some really strange things that have a Wikipedia page.
You're not wrong, but I've checked for it and I couldn't find one at the very least. But the main two operative parts of the band and the two founding members of the band are vocalist Ben Dewar and songwriter, guitarist for the first two albums, drum programmer, keyboardist Chris Wiseman, also producer, engineer Chris Wiseman.
They're from New England.
They're from New England.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah. Where they had the clam chowder in the Abstead.
Yeah, you can really hear the accent.
No,
from Ben.
not at all.
But these two got together and started making Shadow of Intent music, I believe, back in, I want to say it was 2014 or 2014 when they put out an EP, and then 2015 I think is when Primordial came out. 2016. Wow, it was that soon.
Yeah.
So yeah, they put out an album called Primordial, which was kind of a sort of a sleeper hit in the deathcore community, where it was like, it came out and there was not really all that much buzz about it. They had an EP that got some interest, and then they put out Primordial, and it was sort of like slowly people talking in the community. And towards the end of the year, I remember on the subreddit on the end of the year, people being like, yeah, Primordial was really fucking good. It's kind of like on top 10 deathcore albums this year. And I started listening to that. I was like, wow, this is, and I knew from the name instantly that this was a project heavily inspired by the Halo franchise and universe, which I am still, my long hiatus from playing any meaningful amount of the games, I am still a Halo fan, tentatively, hoping and crossing my fingers for Halo Infinite that it'll be
never had an
good.
Xbox.
It's, so, hey, if you ever want to play some co-op or something, I got my Xbox One sitting over there. We'll play the Master Chief Collection.
That sounds like fun.
Let's make you do Halo 2 on Legendary. I don't even punish myself that severely to play Halo 2 on Legendary, so I don't think I'd do that for you. Yes, Shadow of Intent is a ship. It's a Covenant ship in Halo 3. that comes to save the day on Earth after there's a faction of aliens that decide to help humanity. They show up, and it's an awesome-looking ship. Ships in Halo in general just have really cool names. There's this one big space station that's called Unyielding Hierophant. There's the Covenant capital is called High Charity. The UNSC ships are really cool too. There's one that's just called Gettysburg, which is a great name for a ship.
Sure.
Then you've got a lot of Greek ones. There's Marathon, Thermopylae. Then there's also a little bit more obscure ones. There's Pillar of Autumn, which is the famous ship from Halo 1 that you arrive on the Halo in. And then there's, what's the ship from Halo Wars? Spirit of Fire. There's a lot of just really, really good ship names.
Well, there'd be great band names as well. I mean,
yeah, they made good band names, and Shadow of Intent went for that one, and one of the coolest names. Truth and Reconciliation is another one that I really like.
Nice.
But at any rate, that was their first two albums, both Primordial, which mostly deals with the ancient backstory and lore of the Halo franchise, involving races called the Forerunners and the Precursors, and an ancient species of humanity, all tangled up in there. And that album sort of tells the story. And then Reclaimer has more to do with like the modern era of the Halo franchise. But they sort of mine the depths of the lore, because surprisingly, for a game that is mostly thought of as, you run down a hallway as a big green space marine and shoot a bunch of aliens, and that's the game. I guess if you've ever played a level that has the Flood in it in the first 3 Halo games, there's actually some fairly meaty, cosmic horror lurking just in the background of the Halo franchise. And so they really kind of mined the depths of that cosmic horror element for those first 2 albums. But for this one, album number 3, Melancholy, they kind of put the Halo franchise behind them and decided to tell an original story. And it's an interesting one. I think the metaphor, because this is a concept album, and I really think the concept itself is it involves directly suicide. That is a direct topic in the story that is presented. But I believe the more fantastical elements are still a prolonged metaphor for the feelings leading up to a suicide attempt, and maybe the feelings immediately after a failed one or an aborted one. So the story and the concept deals with, there is some sort of demonic entity known as the Grave Singer that has caused this mass wave of death and suicide, and basically caused some manner of an apocalypse. And then our protagonist is someone who is apparently experiencing this, and instead of succumbing directly to whatever it is that's causing all of these people to die, he chooses to commit suicide because he's tired of living in this horrible world. He just wants to rest. And then he finds out that you don't get to do that, and he gets dragged through this horrible series of this cosmic abyss, and this horrible underworld where any preconceived notion of afterlife and deliverance in heaven or hell is just kind of shattered, and it's misery, but it's not what you would expect.
Right.
And then he kind of finds the will to live, sort of, in the sense that, and this is why I think it's an extended metaphor, is because he is able to return to reality and return back to life, but he's still miserable. And that's the coming down part of the metaphor to me, is this idea that, okay, you've either chosen not to go through with it, or you've chosen to live where someone else has prevented you from dying, and you wake up, you're back in the world, and nothing has gotten better.
Okay.
You're still alive, but you're still miserable. For a time, at least. For that moment, for that, those minutes after you put the gun or the knife or whatever down, you're not immediately happy, like, oh, I'm better. And that the last song is all about that. You know, there's a line where it's, am I to live in nothingness? And just this idea that, you know, okay, I'm alive, but what is, it's not like there's magically something in this world for me.
Right. What is the name of the last song?
Malediction.
Malediction, yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot of, speaking musically now instead of like the metaphor, there is a lot of distressed, I've heard them called distressed cleans on this album, where it's more of a clean melodic vocal. It's not screamed, but it is sort of a gruff.
Right. It's almost
sung.
a scream.
It's almost, yeah, but it's like this gruff sung vocal, and that's Chris Wiseman there on the guitar and doing backing vocals, and that adds so much flavor to this album.
Oh, it's awesome.
I love those moments in the songs, and I think the songs that are my favorites are the one that has the most of them, not to detract from Ben motherfucking Dewar. Holy shit.
Yeah.
This guy's like my age.
Yeah, and it sounds like he has some sort of a condition.
That some sort of a condition that makes him do amazing, like fucking awesome
Just
vocals.
Crazy. Just
wow. His range is seriously impressive. It brings forth an image of Travis Ryan almost. But the thing is, and we talked about this a little bit on the cattle decapitation episode, is that Travis can't really pull off those vocals live.
Right.
Ben can.
Wow.
And he has been since they've started touring live. Now, I don't know how long he'll be able to maintain that because
he's young yet.
He's a young man, and I think deathcore vocalists suffer from burnout. I think more than good one, more than almost any other genre. I think deathcore vocalists really suffer from burnout. There's a lot of bands that have changed vocalists, and it's like, where did that vocalist go? Oh, they just quit and work at.
He's a mime now.
He's
yeah.
Former vocalist of Chelsea Grin, now working as a mime. I mean. No, he's probably working as like a manager at Hot Topic or something.
Yeah, I'd say, sir, how much is this shirt?
It's $15.
Just completely burned out vocal cords or something. I actually don't know if that particular guy I mentioned, I don't know if he actually went on to do a different band. I can't remember. Yeah. I don't remember. I remember. Beep, 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 beep. Yeah, Ben is just got a really insane range. It does a lot of different things. Of course, his default vocal is a very deep and nasty, sort of guttural growl that he does. Very high black metal shrieks. This sort of, I've heard it compared to Dimmu Borgir, this sort of gruff spoken word that he does. That ways down, you like doing
He does that. And it's very moist.
Yes, extremely moist. That's the sort of the best way to describe his vocals, actually.
Very moist.
Very moist. Lots of, you can really hear the throat noises.
Right.
And so he is absolutely fantastic on this record. There's only one feature on this album, which I was kind of surprised about, because Reclaimer from 2017 had a ton of features on
Featuring.
it. There was guys from a bunch of different bands, including Dickie Allen was on there. Tom Barber from, at the time it was Lorna Shore. Now he's the vocalist of Chelsea Grin. Vocalists from, I think, the guy from Slaughter to Prevail was on there. It's mostly deathcore vocalists that were on there. On this one, on the other hand, you had Trevor
Strenad. There's no vowels in the guy's name.
There is a vowel. There's an A at the end. He is known as the vocalist for a band called the Black Dahlia Murder. They're a sort of melodic death metal band that's been around for quite some time. He is featured on, Barren and Breathless Macrocosm.
And just which I read as Barren and Breathless Macaroon when I first saw it.
This barren macaroon.
It is no coconut.
Bring me one with flavor. This macaroon is barren and damned.
And moist.
No, it is not moist. This macaroon is dry.
Okay, Emperor Palpatine.
This macaroon is dry. Take it. Take your Jedi pastry and strike me down. Do it.
I am allergic to coconut.
That was the Emperor's main weakness.
Yeah, he had
If
an
you
allergy.
wanted to assassinate the Emperor, just put some coconut in there. He'd probably detect the coconut with the Force or some fucking stupid shit.
What happened to the Emperor? Anaphylaxis.
It was anaphylaxis. he could use the metachlorians to create life, but he could not save himself.
He did not have an
Ironic.
He had no EpiPen.
The Emperor. Vader, bring me my EpiPen. So this album has been scored pretty positively by several publications, although it's been scored much more lukewarm by just as many, I feel.
Really?
But a couple 100% on the board. There's been 3 different reviews from Sputnik Music. One of them is at 100%. The other one's only at 60%.
Really?
But I added 7 together and came out with an average score of 83%.
Which is about where most albums fall.
Really?
That we review here
Yeah,
anyway.
that we talk about. Most albums that are not just straight up shit usually fall mid-80s or, mid-80s up to the low 90s.
Once again, because we're metal fans, we don't want to sit around and talk about stuff that sucks.
Mm-hmm. It's easy to do that with movies because there's a visual aid and there's something that is funny.
Right.
Bad music is almost never funny. Unless it's like really bad, like Corey Feldman released an album that is apparently just really bad and laughably bad.
Yeah, I remember I saw a clip of him on, I think it was the Today Show. It was that he was on, and it was him, and he had some backing vocalists, and he was just looking like he was having some sort of a fit.
Yeah, and
it was weird.
I've heard it. I haven't listened to it.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that'll be some point. We get an extra day and an extra, day in the month or something where we
waste an episode.
Yeah, we just completely waste an episode on something we hate. I mean, we didn't hate it, but we've kind of wasted an episode on something we didn't care for all that much before.
We have.
Looking at you, Lords of Chaos.
Well, are you talking about the movie, or are we talking about the
movie?
The album that...
You know what? I'm gonna admit.
Yeah. The Mayhem album.
De Mysterious fucking Mayhem's first album.
Satanicus Mysterious Satan.
The Mystery of Satan.
Yeah.
It's kind of grown on me.
Really?
Just a little bit. I've come to appreciate it. I don't know if I'm comfortable saying that I like it, but I'm fine with saying that I've grown to appreciate it more.
All right.
I'll leave it at that at the very least. But the Lords of Chaos, the movie, it's a waste of time.
Rory Culkin, man, he was the diamond in that movie.
Oh yeah, sure. Not really, no. I don't even know what the best part of the movie was.
I think the best part of the movie was the stabbing. When he got stabbed to death. I'm like, there's some good effects going on here.
Yeah, there's some good effects, and it was really visceral. It made you feel something at least.
Yeah, that's the part that stands on my head.
It made you feel something other than embarrassment.
Right.
Which is the entire rest of the fucking movie, except for the other stabbing.
Right.
And the suicide.
That was hard
scene.
to watch.
Yeah.
On the suicide, right.
Those, other than the moments of horrible, horrific violence, the movie's just embarrassing.
You know, that's the flip-flop of every other movie you see. Man, if you can get past the gory violence, it's a pretty good movie.
If you can get to the gory violence, it's a good movie.
Those are the good scenes. You just edit out the rest of the shit.
Yeah, that's all you need to watch is just the gory violence.
Yeah.
So, what was your favorite song on the album?
I thought the aforementioned Macaroon song. I enjoyed the Baron Breathless Macrocosm.
The Macaroon song, is that the one where you did, is that the dance, or is like
Macaroon? But I also like the final cut, that Malediction. It was really good. There's a lot of lush dynamics in there.
Oh yeah, and I really like Malediction as well. I think that might be my second favorite. I really love the opening track as well.
Yeah, well, the title track.
Yeah, opening track and title track. My favorite, I'm going to say, is Chthonic Odyssey.
Okay.
I really love the chorus in there. Live. I can't sing. I can't sing it. It's
okay,
not good.
Let's not.
Let's not do that.
All right.
But it's the song "Life" or the line. God, fuck.
Line,
line, please. I'm sorry. I know I should have been off book by now. But
can we do a line swap?
The line "Life finds its way into the void until the veil is shut again." I don't know. I like the imagery of that.
Sure.
And I also love how it sort of fades out. They do they pull a fast one on you. You think it's the end of the song because you hear for the first time acoustic guitar popping up, and you think it's the end of the song, and then bow, and they pop right back with another chorus, and then actually do an actual fade out still with the acoustic guitar. I really love that.
And can we mention the production on this?
Quite good.
The production is amazing.
It's quite good. It's
and it's
still
self-produced.
It is, yeah. It's mostly self-produced. Yeah. There was another producer there that is not part of the band and has produced for several other death metal bands. But it's at least in part self-produced. And each Shadow of Intent album has been at least in some way self-produced. I think the first two were entirely self-produced.
Right.
And self-recorded too. There's videos of Ben recording his vocals just with his own gear at his house.
On his iPhone.
No. That would be impressive.
That would be impressive.
You'd have to hold it pretty far away from your face, I think, to not get a ton of distortion. Sound like an old Converge song. Stop.
Okay,
yeah, now you made me lose my place. God damn it!
Sound like an old Converge song.
Yeah,
talking about distortion.
No, so yeah, it was self-produced. I think it's still fairly evident that this is a digital production.
Sure. Well, yeah, it's obviously not done on.
Yeah, this wasn't done on magnetic tape or
wax
anything.
cylinder.
I think this is an all-in Pro Tools type album.
Right.
That being said,
direct to digital.
Direct to digital. Yeah. That being said, I don't know what their setup was before you went to digital. If they were, just straight in from like a profiler, or if they actually had, mics on amps or anything.
Right, who knows?
I don't know. I'm presuming the drum kit was a digital drum kit or an electric drum kit.
Right.
They have a drum player.
A drum player?
A drummer. I'm like, some days I swear to God I'm a fucking alien. I've been replaced by an alien, but I don't know it. And it slips through every once in a while. It's like I've been replaced by a synth from Fallout, where they're not aware that they aren't the original person.
Sure.
But instead of a synth, it's an alien who doesn't know Earth terms for musicians. They do have a live drummer, a real live drummer, drum player that plays their live shows on a physical, acoustic kit. I presume the bass is triggered, but
it's triggered by the percussion hitter.
Yes, yeah, it's
the percussion hitter.
Yeah, it's
with the stick waver.
Yeah, you're not just. You're not just pressing a button and bass plays. No, it's you actually have to hit the pedals, but. I presume just from the volume of blast beats,
just insane
on this album, you would have to have that in order for it to not just sound like a muddy mess. But like I said, I think this was an electric kit at the very least while they were in the studio. Saved some money, and I think it's. I don't think the effects were diminished. Like there are plenty of bands who I think they go the affordable route. They try to save some money by recording digitally, and you can tell. And I think especially a lot of technical death metal bands do that, and you can always tell, and it feels like it kind of cheapens it a little bit. That's not really the case with Shadow of Intent.
No.
There's enough humanity in the songwriting and in the amount of melody and all the other stuff going on here that it doesn't feel robotic.
Now, did they manage to have? I wonder on keyboard the backing operatic vocals. I mean choral vocals, not operatic.
I have to imagine that was that was probably digital, done on a keyboard.
Those were very well done.
Yeah, and Chris has been doing that since day one.
Sure. With
Shadow of Intent, bringing in symphonic elements and that sort of thing. So he's been doing this for a few years at this point, and definitely seems to know what he's doing as far as where to get those effects and how to do them. They don't have a live keyboard player or anything, and I feel like some of that would be a little too intricate to reliably play live unless you've got someone that's like fucking
really good
Jordan Rudess.
Yeah.
Unless you've got Jordan Rudess to play your keyboard and electronic parts at the show, I feel like you might have some difficulty. So they do play simply with a backing track.
He might not be busy right now.
Jordan Rudess, I'm pretty sure Jordan Rudess is busy right now. They had a new album come out in May.
So yeah.
Pretty sure they're touring at the moment.
That's done.
That's over. That tour's already over with.
Yeah.
Dream Theater would never do a really long tour.
No, they play like 8 dates.
And that's it.
That's it. They play Dayton. They play Canoga. They play Kenosha.
Kenosha?
Yeah.
Do they play Scranton?
They might.
What about Kenosha?
They might. That would be awesome, dude. I would totally go see that at Lake Kenosha up in some snatch you want.
Yeah, go some snatch you want. Yeah. Is Kenosha in Saskatchewan?
Yeah.
For some reason, I thought it was in Manitoba.
It is not. It's Carlisle, Saskatchewan.
This is for everyone, for you listeners out. This is a lake that is like a little resort destination.
And has a water park and
yeah,
in
Saskatchewan.
And if you're 18 years old, you can go up and have a beer and some poutine.
Nice.
And hit the water slide. And the water slides clearly they don't have the same safety standards
in Canada as they do down here in the States.
Right. Yeah.
Or maybe just Saskatchewan doesn't have those safety standards that we have in the States.
They call it the Gap.
They call it the Gap.
That's what. Yeah. I have some people that I love that live in Saskatchewan.
But
they know they live in the Gap.
Driving across Canada.
Yeah. If you're going somewhere, you have to go across the Gap to get there, which is Saskatchewan.
Yeah, and probably you could include parts of western Manitoba. In there too.
Probably.
Eastern Manitoba's gorgeous.
It's beautiful.
Lots of trees and stuff.
Did you know that if you live in Manitoba, the odds are very good that you live in Winnipeg?
Yeah. If you live in Canada, the odds are very good you live within 100 miles of the U.S. border.
Well, sure. Well, yeah. But I mean, the population of Winnipeg, a vast majority of the population of Manitoba live in Winnipeg.
I suppose. I was going to say, a majority of the population, but that's not true. I was going to say a majority of the population of North Dakota lives in Fargo, but that's patently untrue.
No.
150,000 is not over half of 700,000.
Right. Are we at 700 now?
Probably close. I don't fucking know.
650, 700, something like that.
We've got a census coming up next year. We'll find out.
But if you live in North Dakota, you probably live in Beulah.
Yeah, good old Beulah.
Good old the sprawling megalopolis of
Beulah, North Dakota. Sandwiched between 3 or maybe 4 coal-fired power plants and the Dakota gasification plant, because what everyone wants to smell is piss.
I guess that's exactly what that smells like.
It's urea. That's why it smells like piss. Yeah. I had to go get my piss test at the gas plant when I worked there over the summer.
Wow.
So driving, and we went a couple other times.
When you were a teenager.
When I was 18. Mm-hmm. I think the other years I got to go to Bismarck because that's where the headquarters is. At any rate, yeah, lots of piss smells there.
Yeah.
It's kind of interesting. This so off topic, but It's kind of interesting because those two plants, there's I think Antelope Valley and then the Dakota Gasification Plant. They're literally right next to each other, but there's just a big hill between them, a big, I think, man-made hill as well. But it's just this big like hill, and it's like, oh, there's Antelope Valley, which is a really big power plant. I had never realized how big it was until I went over there because I don't ever have a reason to go to Beulah.
Sure.
I don't have a reason. When I'm driving down that road, I never have a reason to go past Hazen.
Okay.
Because I used to go to the dentist there, and it would stop there because it's already past where my dad works.
I have some friends from Hazen.
Do you?
Yeah.
Oh, are those the guys in the Acid Bath cover band?
Well, one of them, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Buddha.
Buddha.
Shout out to Buddha. He's not listening, but shout out to Darnell rep now, Buddha. He's awesome.
Nice.
I could tell you some stories about Buddha, but he probably wouldn't want me to tell you those stories.
Okay, well then don't tell them. You can tell me the stories when the microphones are off.
They might involve things that alter minds.
As many of your stories do. So, color me unsurprised. What is the color of unsurprised?
I don't know. Is it?
I think the color of unsurprised is beige.
Beige.
And you have to say it that way, too. Beige. Although that might be too much flour. Too much flour? Too much flavor. Jesus. Wow. That's what I wanted to say.
Hey, speaking of flavor.
Shadow of Intent.
Well, I was going to say, we have a good beer here. I thought I'm enjoying it.
Leffe.
It's a blonde.
Oh, it's a Abbey of Leff. Is this
It's an Abbey blonde.
Well, was this made by nuns
or monks, you mean?
Oh, in Abbey. Yeah. Where do nuns live?
Well, nuns live in an abbey, but but sometimes monks live in a monastery. I mean, it's the same.
Yeah. I was going to say, is it a Trappist? I know there's plenty of Belgian Trappist beers that usually rate very highly amongst lists of best beers ever made.
I have a child who's a blonde who's an Abbey.
That is correct. Yes,
Yeah.
you do. Is that your oldest daughter?
My oldest daughter.
Okay.
She's awesome.
What metal do you want to bequeath upon this album?
I bequeath once again a high silver.
A high silver?
High
Okay.
ho silver.
Simply because of my history with this band and my continuing love for them, I'm calling this a gold.
Awesome.
I'm giving it the gold. I think this is a great direction for them. Really good progression from their previous album, and I like that they're really doing their own thing now. As much as I love Halo and I loved what they were doing with that,
but they've departed. They've put themselves into it.
Yeah, now. You're right. They've put themselves into this, and I
totally appreciate that.
I really want to see what they do next after this. I'm excited.
And does it slap?
Oh shit! We didn't talk about if this album slaps. Fuck yeah. Yeah, holy shit. This album, just in case it wasn't clear, this album fucking slaps.
And it slows down at times because it has that dynamic, and it's just to peel that hand back so it can slap the shit out of your mouth again.
Yes, yeah. You gotta take the hand back every once in a while so you can slap them even harder.
Right. Or because if the hand is always next to your cheek, it's not slapping you very hard. So occasionally,
unless you're Bruce Lee.
Good point.
He had a great 1-inch punch. Did he have a good 1-inch slap? Probably.
Likely.
I imagine he did. But no, this is not an album of 1-inch slaps. This is an album of big slaps.
Big swelling slaps, yeah.
Big old slaps that cause swelling when they're done.
Oh, yeah.
I'm a mess.
I got a bloody nose.
I got 2 black eyes. I'm missing a couple of teeth.
I got 3 black eyes.
You got?
I got 3 black eyes and both my noses are bleeding. It was...
Are you a fucking Batarian from Mass Effect?
Yes.
Oh shit! I didn't notice. Hate Batarians. At any rate, what do we want to do next week? Next week is the first week of September. And so we're doing another non-metal month. March,
no metal month.
September, non-metal months. So what are you bringing?
Well, I think I already warned you about this.
I believe you did. Reiterate for me.
Okay. But you did say, this is...
Oh, yes. Okay.
I could have brought a metal album, but I didn't. I decided to bring in Ween. I'm going to make you listen to Ween.
You know what? I listened.
The Mollusk.
Yeah, I listened to the title track, and I am so perplexed and interested. I am so very interested and so excited for this because it seems like a delightful album.
Yeah, it is delightfully. What the fuck? I mean, there's a lot of that in there.
If you've heard the Ocean Man meme used in videos on YouTube, that is the album that is from.
Yeah, that's where this comes from.
So I'm very excited for that. That seems like a lot of fun. Week after that, I don't think I have quite yet decided what exactly I want to be bringing. But
we got time.
We got time. We'll talk more about that next week when we return. So in the meantime, check us out on our social media pages. We're on Facebook. We're on Twitter. You always get updates when new episodes come out. You click on the link. You listen to the episode. Hey, you have a good time. What are you doing? What are you doing? Just click on the link. What do you want from me? Just felt like slowly getting louder and louder.
That was fun. All right.
Also, make sure to subscribe to us on Libsyn or iTunes if you so desire. And YouTube, why not? We have a YouTube channel. We never talk about it.
Yeah, you know what's funny is I'm subscribed to it, and then it pops up on my YouTube subscriptions, and then I look and it's 0 watches.
Oh yeah,
nobody watches it.
Well, because it's an hour long and it's just a black screen
it just says
with our logo on it.
Bronze medalist.
Yeah,
podcast.
It's not something that you actively watch.
Is there a way you can make it so that it's like a picture of like a pair of hairy balls or something?
Yeah, there is a way I could do that, but am I going to do that? No.
All right. I'm just saying, that might be more interesting than the black screen. Just a big pair of swollen hairy balls.
I could get a couple of basketballs, cover them in fur, and take pictures of that.
Oh my, big balls.
Why are you talking about big hairy balls? What is it with you and big hairy balls?
I have no idea.
Okay.
I need a nap.
Sure. All right. Time for us to get this over. So thank you for listening to another episode of the Bronze Metalist Podcast. I'm Kale.
I'm OJ. Congratulations.
Oh. I lifted my beer to go for a cheers before we said congratulations.
All right.
I was trying to figure out where I wanted to start again. All right. Damn it.
Thanks for listening.
I'm making myself have to edit this. Okay, time to get this over with. Thank you very much for listening to another episode of the Bronze Medalist Podcast. I'm Kale.
I'm OJ.
Congratulations.
There we go.
What are you doing? What are you doing?
I'm waiting patiently.
Stop it. You're going to make me laugh.
Okay.
Stop it. You're going to make me laugh. I don't know why I'm turning into, what's his name?
Making me uncomfortable.
The button down there. What's his name? Sylvester Stallone. That's who I am. Sylvester Stallone.
Sylvester Stallone with malaria.
He got it from spending all that time in the jungles filming Rambo.
Sure he did. Yeah. Eat things a billy goat puke. Make billy goat puke. He would.
Eat things and make a billy goat
there you go.
puke. When you push. Killing is easy as breathing. Okay, I'm done. So that's our post credit.
All right.
Right there.